Hi everyone. Welcome to part two of the technology workshop series. My name is Sonia and I'm a volunteer at Dr. Kearney's clinic, and this workshop will be talking about video calls. So today we'll be going over WebEx and YouTube first. And the reason for going over these two features specifically is because, as many of you may already know, Dr. Kearney's clinic is hosting weekly webinars in which we discuss a variety of health topics as we would in our workshops at the clinic. And the aim of these webinars is to essentially bring those workshops live to you in your home virtually and to engage in a discussion about these topics and discuss them together. So the way that these webinars are hosted are through WebEx and featured on YouTube Live. So we'll be going over those first so you can equate yourself with the process a little bit better. We'll end off talking a little bit about Zoom and Skype as well. So before we get started, we'll just take a second here to discuss a little bit about why we should learn about technology in the first place. So if this is your first time joining us in these technology workshop series, welcome. And if you've already watched the previous video on how to use email, you may already be a little bit acquainted on why we should get involved in technology and why we should use it. So the aim of this technology workshop series is to highlight the advantages of technology and how you can use it to do two things. One, how you can use it to as a tool for social bonding, and secondly, how you can use it to facilitate your healthcare goals. And both of these reasons are quite intertwined, as we'll see moving along in our journey. So first of all, technology is a great way to continue social bonding even while we are at home. So there have been numerous studies done in recent years that have actually shown an association between signs of loneliness and depression in technology use, indicating that when individuals use technology to stay connected to their loved ones, loneliness and depression were significantly reduced. So I think this is even more important now in the circumstances that we're currently living in, where you might not be able to, see your family and your friends and your coworkers in person. And so this can quickly lead to feelings of isolation. However, we have all the tools in the world to stay connected virtually, one of them being video calls, as we'll discuss in this workshop today. And these video calls have really allowed us to sort of share our thoughts and our pictures and our stories all within seconds as if we were there with the individual in person. So it's really more important than ever to learn how to use technology as a tool for social bonding because not only does it allow you to stay more connected with your loved ones, but it also, in doing so, enhances your social networks and your support system, which ultimately leads to an increased overall life satisfaction and overall well being. So here we're actually going to share a video by one of our patients in the clinic on how they're using technology to stay connected.
Health Club. I was so inspired by last week's message about relationships. I want to show you what I do to try to promote relationships, especially when communications and real visits are difficult. First of all, I have my wonderful husband who's videoing this. Then I have 6 wonderful grandchildren with their parents, and I make time to do videos with my friends. I love to read to my grandchildren on the iPad. So here I am. I'm going to read to my grandchildren. We got Henry and Ollie.
Can you wave? Can you wave, Henry?
Ali, can you wave? Say hi.
Hi! Oh, they got their iPhone. Great. Okay, so here we go. We're going to read today. Yeah? Wow. Okay, so here we go. How do I get the book to them? I've I've got the book about Spot. They can see it. Yeah.
Can you do the noodle book first?
Well, let's do the Spot book first because I got a few things to show you. Spot's toys. There's Spot. I love my ball. Catch, Spot. See this alligator over here? I got another alligator in my puzzle piece. Here's my alligator from the puzzle. We're going to put him right in his puzzle slot, right here. Good. Okay, next page. I really like my train. Toot toot. Toot toot.
Right.
Bubba, Bubba, I want you to do the monkey.
We'll do the monkey. Here's the monkey. He loves his train set. There's Spot. I want to feel meaningful, and I want to feel that I can still contribute to family and friends, and they're helping keep me healthy. Yesterday, I got a call from my local YMCA where we're members just asking if I was able to do any exercise and look after myself during this time when our memberships have been put on hold. So I'm really happy to know that the Y is thinking of my husband and I and community members, and they're planning to open as soon as it's safe. So I want to stay relevant. I want to stay helpful and active in this time of COVID. Take care, everybody. And goodbye to all my friends at Dr. Kernew's Health Club.
So just through that, you can see how powerful technology can be in helping you stay connected with your loved ones. Through reading and story time with her grandkids, this patient was really able to feel still a very relevant part of their family and really stay involved in all the activities, even without being there in person. So I think this is a great example of how we can all learn technology and learn these different features and play a similar role within our own lives. So we'll start off first talking about WebEx. And WebEx is a video conferencing feature and platform online that has been used by a lot of different professionals within the community, and it's a great way to interact and engage through webinars or even through general meetings. And WebEx is where we host our weekly webinars. So I'll take you through the process of how that works. So if you have already subscribed to our emails, you may have received the webinar links in your email directly. So for example, this is the email I have here, and you would have received a newsletter from the clinic. So this is a webinar that was held last week on May 1st on understanding scientific research. And essentially in the email directly, you would have received the link for WebEx as well as the link for YouTube live stream. Now, before I show you how to access WebEx through the email, I want to highlight that the same link is actually available on Dr. Kernew's website as well. So here is the main page of the website. It's drkernew.com, and on the website we actually also put the webinar links. So if you click at the top, you'll see several different tabs. So Dr. Kernew's blog, an About Us page, Patient Corner, etc. And we'll have a different video discussing all these different features on the website later on in the series as well. But for now, I wanted to highlight your attention to this tab here, Dr. Kearney's blog. And so if you click on that, I just got the page loading here. All right, so on the very top here, you will see the same sort of message. So we've got, it was posted on May 1st, a webinar on understanding research, and you will see the link right over here. This is a link for the WebEx video conferencing. So you can also access the same link here and as well as the YouTube link down below. So if you are not already subscribed to the email and don't receive the newsletters, this is the alternative way to do so. And while we're here, you might also be wondering, well, how do I receive these newsletters so I can get that link emailed to me directly instead? And to do so, you can simply go on the bottom of Dr. Kernew's website, and you'll see this tab at the bottom here. It says receive our monthly newsletters, and you can simply enter in your email address and hit subscribe, and you should be receiving those newsletters in your email as they come out. So once you have access to this link, either through your email or through the website, if you want to join the webinars through WebEx, simply all you have to do is click this link here. Now, you'll notice that there are two options. You can either join through WebEx or through YouTube Live. And as we go through both of these features, you'll kind of start to notice the difference between the two. But just to highlight it here, WebEx is a video conferencing feature, which means that if you join through WebEx, you'll actually be able to engage in the discussion, meaning you'll be able to speak and sort of talk back to Dr. Kernew and whoever the workshop leader is, as well as ask any of your questions and take part in the conversation. So it's a very two-way communication type of platform. On the other hand, you'll see shortly that when we access the webinars through the YouTube Live, you're really only communicating one way. So you're really only able to sort of ask questions in the chat feature, but the workshop leaders and Dr. Kearney won't be able to hear you. They'll only be able to see your questions pop up on the side. But hang tight, we'll go over that in just a second. So if you want to take part in sort of a two-way communication, simply click the link for the WebEx and you'll see this page pop up here. So it'll say starting Cisco WebEx meetings, Friday nights with Dr. Kernew with the date and the time. And in order to access WebEx now, if you don't already have WebEx downloaded on your laptop, you can hit this button here. It says don't have the desktop app, download it now. So this is if you don't have WebEx already on your computer. So if you would like to know how to download it, we're going to hit download here. And you'll notice a little window pop up on the bottom left-hand corner, which essentially says click here to install WebEx. And you can go ahead and click on this little tab. And you'll see here that WebEx is essentially downloading into your laptop. So this is going to install the app into your laptop. Once you have WebEx installed into your computer, a similar screen like this will pop up in the middle of your screen. And so essentially here you'll notice the workshop titles. So in the case of the webinars that happen every week, you might see something that says Friday nights with Dr. Kernew or something similar depending on what the workshop is on. Underneath, you'll have the right time indicated. So for the purposes of this video, it says 9:10 a.m. to 10:10 a.m. But for the webinars, if it was on Friday night, it would normally say 7 to 9 p.m. And I'll go over these three different icons here at the bottom. So note that we're not actually into the webinar right now. We're just in the preliminary stage where we're about to enter the meeting. So the first icon here is for your microphone. So you can choose whether you want to enter the meeting muted or unmuted. So when these icons are filled in red, that means their particular actions have been completed. So for example, if this is filled in red, that means currently you are muted. So to unmute yourself, it would need to be gray, and that way when you enter the meeting, you'll essentially be unmuted. Similar thing, the second icon here is for video. So if you wanted to turn your webcam on, you can essentially hit this button here and it will turn gray, similar to the microphone one, in which case your webcam would be on and you would see your face here. And in this case, we'll just leave our video off where the icon would be red. Now, the third icon is how you enter the meeting. So yours might say join meeting instead of start meeting because you aren't the host of the meeting, and because I am in this case, it says start. But essentially, when you're joining the webinars, you would hit this green button here, which would probably say join meeting. So essentially, when you enter the meeting as a participant, this screen will pop up. And there's a variety of different icons and such here that we'll go over as well. So on the middle panel here, this middle screen is essentially where you will see the presentation. So if we are sharing any slides, you'll see the slideshow presented here. And normally when there are more participants entering, you will actually usually see the different squares of the participants at the top here, where if they have their webcam on, you'll be able to see their face and sort of watch them as they speak through the presentation. So this middle icon here will be usually where the slides are. In your participant side, so the left panel here, sorry, right panel here, you will essentially have a list of participants. So you can see all the other individuals that are joining in on the webinar, including the host, and that is essentially what the right panel is for. On the bottom here is essentially where you can sort of have a variety of different controls on how you choose to participate in the webinar itself. So you'll see some similar icons that we went over earlier. The first button here is for the microphone icon. So essentially, again, when it's filled in red, you are muted. And when it is filled in gray, you are unmuted. So if you are simply watching the webinar happen, we do ask that you keep yourself muted when someone else is talking, just so that we avoid having a lot of feedback in the session. But definitely, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns throughout the webinar, you can for sure hit unmute and add your input into the discussion, which is always greatly appreciated. Again, if you wanted to enter and participate in this webinar through video cam and have your webcam on and essentially show your face, you would hit this button here, which would go gray, similar to the microphone one, and that would start your video. Now, some of these other icons here, depending on whether you are the host or the participant, you may or may not see. But essentially, this would be the icon to share your content. So if you are ever hosting a WebEx meeting, it would be a similar procedure. You would download the WebEx app and you can actually share your screen and share your slides, which is how we usually run the webinars. And as a host, you can also record the meeting, which is how a lot of our webinars are recorded and posted on YouTube afterwards. And this tab here essentially determines whether or not you would like to see the list of participants. So hitting on that would remove the list if you wanted the middle screen to expand a bit more. And when it's blue, you would essentially see the participants on the right-hand panel. Now this button here is the chat feature, and this is a very useful feature in a lot of different video conferencing platforms, and you'll see it again in YouTube as well. But essentially hitting on this chat button opens up a chat box right underneath your participant panel. So you can enter in your chat message here. So whenever you have a question or you wanted to add in a comment and not necessarily speak, you can enter your message here in the chat. And you can choose who that message goes to as well. So if you wanted everyone to see that message, you'll notice it's automatically hit to everyone. But if I wanted to send it to a specific individual instead and not everybody in the meeting, you can also hit that specific individual's name. In this case, it's just myself, but you can hit the specific individual's name and that chat message will just go to them. So the chat feature is very, very useful. You can choose to close it or show it, but I would recommend to to hit the chat feature as soon as you enter, just so that when others are asking questions or discussing something in the chat box, you'll see it pop up as they send in their messages here as well. Now, when the meeting is happening and eventually when the webinar ends, to leave the webinar, you would essentially hit this big red box here that says end or leave meeting. And so that is essentially the basics of WebEx. Again, you can host meetings if you would like, if you're looking to host for work or just to stay connected with your family and friends as well, or you can enter in as a participant, as I've just shown. So that's about all for WebEx. And next we'll be going over YouTube. So like I mentioned before, two ways to join the webinars, one through WebEx, in which it's more of a two-way communication. You're able to speak and take part in the discussion live as it happens by directly adding in your input. And in YouTube, you're able to see the webinar happen live stream, but it's more of a one-way communication. So Dr. Kernew and the volunteers won't be able to hear you as we speak, but you'll be able to hear us, and you'll be able to ask your questions in the chat feature, as we'll see in just a second. So going back to the email that we have from the clinic in the newsletter, again, first link for WebEx, second link for live streaming on YouTube. So you can go ahead and click this link here. And a reminder again that this link is also available on on Dr. Kernew's website under Dr. Kernew's blog in the recent posts. So if you aren't getting the newsletters or aren't subscribed yet, you can also access it there, similar to the WebEx link. So clicking on that YouTube link will open up Dr. Kernew's YouTube channel, and there are different tabs here that you'll notice in the channel, and this is essentially what your page will look like on any specific YouTube channel that you go to. So the two most important tabs here are videos and playlists. So in the videos, you'll see all the different workshops and webinars that we've had in the past. So whether they're pre-recorded or live webinars, you'll be able to see them here. So everything from understanding scientific research to the first technology workshop video we had on how to use email, eating healthy at home, congestive heart failure, a whole lot to learn and a lot of different things featured here. So this is probably the most important tab. And the second tab is playlists. So if you wanted to see those videos in a little bit more organized manner, there are specific playlists for specific topics as well. So going back to the videos tab, when you click the link, let's say a couple minutes before the webinar officially starts at 7 p.m. on Friday night, you'll essentially see the webinar pop up here. So right now there's no live stream happening because I'm recording this video when there is no webinar happening, but essentially what you would see, so this is an example, but what you would see under the videos tab is this little icon here that says live now. And so that icon here essentially means that is where the live stream will be happening. So when you want to join in through YouTube, you would just simply hit that link and it'll take you to the video page. So I'm just going to show you an example here of through a webinar that's already happened. But essentially, if this webinar said live now,
55 pounds.
we would, if this webinar was happening live, we would click on that video and you would see the little live button, the little red live button on the side here. And there's a couple of different things you'll notice here. So the video will continue to play in the live stream format. So again, you'll see the slides in the middle and you'll see the individuals at the top who are presenting or other individuals who are joining in. And essentially what this is displaying is the WebEx interface. So if you recall, going back, if we were to join in through WebEx, this is kind of what you would see if you were directly in the WebEx meeting. But joining in on YouTube live stream, you kind of have an outside view on this, so you're able to see it all happen, but you're not able to essentially talk back. So the video will continue playing as individuals present, as the discussion happens along. But what I want to highlight here is this chat feature. So when you are signed in, so you can hit this blue button here and sign into your email. It can be any email you would like. You can actually participate in this chat box here. And so in this chat box, you can enter in questions, comments, concerns as the webinar happens, and volunteers will be checking this to address your questions in the meeting here directly as they come in. So you can definitely stay engaged in conversation here, even talking to other individuals as you see here already. So this would be the chat feature here. So again, you are still able to ask questions and sort of participate, but it'll only be through the chat feature and you can't really talk back here on YouTube. And one final thing I'll talk about with YouTube is the subscribe button here. So again, if you are signed into your email when you are on YouTube and you hit subscribe, Dr. Kernew's channel will pop up whenever you go on YouTube, and you'll be able to stay more in touch with the different videos we're posting and even get email notifications for every time we do post a new video. So if you are someone who uses YouTube frequently, I would recommend staying subscribed to the channel, in which case you'll be able to see all the different videos as they are posted. If you're unsure on how to sign in here and on how to make an email in general, I would recommend going back to our first technology workshop video in which I walk you through the process of creating an email and how to use it. All right, so a similar platform to WebEx is Zoom. And so Zoom is also rapidly increasing in their users these days because of the whole COVID-19 situation. But Zoom is essentially a similar platform that a lot of professionals and individuals in the community use to have, again, the two-way communication. So again, it's a video calling feature. You're able to share your screen, share slides, and sort of have a live discussion back and forth between the person that you are calling. So we'll go over here quickly how to use Zoom as well. Note that the process is very, very similar to WebEx. So usually if you're able to use WebEx, you can sort of translate those skills over to use Zoom, but we'll go over that quickly here too. So essentially when someone invites you to a Zoom meeting, you will receive an invitation via email. They can also send you that link directly as well through messages or whatever else communication method you are using, but normally you'll receive it through email. And so this is an example I have here of just a meeting that I'm hosting for the purpose of this video. And so you'll essentially see the title, what the meeting is for, the time, as well as the date, and finally you'll see the link to join the Zoom meeting. Now, again, very similar to WebEx, you can hit that link and it'll take you through the process of joining Zoom meeting. One thing I'll also mention here is that it gives you the meeting ID and password. Usually when you enter Zoom meetings, these aren't usually required. It doesn't usually ask you to put this ID or password in anywhere, but in the case that your meeting is secure or it does ask you to have this information given to you when the link is given as well. I'll mention here too with the WebEx webinars for Dr. Kearney's clinic, similar process. Usually passwords are not needed to join in, but in the case that they are, the password would just be Kearney with a capital C if WebEx ever does ask you for a password. So just keep that in mind. Usually they don't, but something to keep in mind of. So when you receive a Zoom invitation, we're going to go ahead and click this meeting here if you want to enter in the meeting. So you'll notice here a similar sort of interface as WebEx. So we've got it saying launching Zoom meetings. I personally already have Zoom downloaded into my computer just to speed up the process of explaining. But if you don't have Zoom downloaded into your computer already, you can go ahead and click this link here, which says download and run Zoom. And essentially after clicking this, you'll see the little icon pop up on the bottom left-hand corner, similar to what happened with WebEx. you would click that icon and you would essentially give permission to Zoom to install into your computer. So I won't go through that process like I did with WebEx, but it's a very, very similar process. You would click download, icon would appear, and you would hit install. Essentially, if you already have Zoom installed into your computer, as I do right now, you will see this little tab that pops up that says Open Zoom, and you can open it within your Zoom app. Once you have hit Open Zoom, essentially what will happen is that a little tab like this will pop up that says Zoom, Join Meeting, or Sign In. Now notice on my screen here, this is not the Zoom app. I'm showing this to you through the Zoom Help Center through a screenshot they have, just because with my meeting here, the similar message isn't popping up because I'm the host. But for the purpose of this video, just to show you what it would look like, you would essentially have a very similar screen as WebEx pop up that says join a meeting, sign in. So you can actually join Zoom meetings without signing in or making an account. So you can go ahead and hit join meeting when you are ready to join. And alternatively, if you do want to sign in, you can sign into your Zoom account if you already have one, or it will give you the option to create a new account as well. So if I hit join a meeting here and essentially join the meeting without signing in, you'll notice the Zoom interface open up. So when you enter in the meeting, again, you'll see that it looks very similar to WebEx. So on the bottom here, we have our important icons, so mute, video, participants, chat, etc. Middle screen again is where you would have the main presentation being displayed, or if you are using Zoom to video call, this is where you would have individuals, essentially their screens showing up with their faces, and the right panel here is for your participants. So right now there's only one participant, but as more individuals join your Zoom meeting, their names would pop up here as well. So going through the important icons once again, we've got our mute, unmute button here. So similar to WebEx, that red line here means that we are currently muted. If we hit on this microphone image, it will essentially unmute us and allow us to speak into the meeting. Second icon is a video, similar process if you want your webcam turned on and show your face, you can hit on that to start your video. If you are the host of the meeting, you will be able to invite more participants over, in which case you can, send them this URL link and the participant ID and all that important information if you are hosting a meeting specifically. And you can also manage your participants. So as a host, you actually are able to choose whether you want to mute your participants or not, and whether you want to turn on their and other different settings as well. So that is specifically if you are a host only, which is why those icons are showing up for me here. And you also have the option to share your screen. So again, if you are presenting something to somebody or want to show them a cool video or whatnot, you can share your screen, in which case they will be able to see exactly what you are doing on your own laptop screen, which is a pretty useful feature as well. Next, we have the chat icon. So again, you might remember from WebEx, but clicking this chat icon will open up the Zoom group chat here. Again, it'll be on it'll be under your participant panel, and you'll be able to type in your message. You can choose again if you want to type it and send it to everybody in your meeting or a certain individual only, and that message will appear here. So very useful chat feature if you don't want to unmute and ask your questions directly in a meeting. You can also use this chat feature to stay engaged. One last thing we'll go over is how to leave the meeting. So to leave the meeting, you would simply hit end meeting, this red button here on the right hand corner, and doing so will allow you to successfully leave the meeting. So the final video calling platform we're going to look at is Skype. And Skype, in comparison to Zoom and WebEx, is a more sort of casual interface. It's still used by a lot of different professionals and colleagues in the community, but a lot of individuals would normally use Skype when they're contacting their family and friends more so than WebEx or Zoom, just because WebEx and Zoom are sort of seen as the more professional interfaces, whereas Skype is a little bit more casual. So that's just something to keep in mind. But essentially, we're going to go over the process of downloading Skype and the main features of Skype as well. So to first start our Skype journey, we're going to go on to skype.com. And Skype is actually run by Microsoft itself. And interestingly, Skype has seen a 70% increase in users during this self-isolation time, which indicates that a lot of individuals are using it to stay connected to their loved ones currently. So when you go onto Skype.com, the main page will essentially show you the different features of Skype, such as features listed here, and a little bit more information about Skype itself. So feel free to browse through that if you want to learn a little bit more. But if this is your first time using Skype, you'll notice the blue button here that says download Skype, and we're going to go ahead and click that. So essentially, similar to WebEx, similar to Zoom, we're trying to download the Skype app into our computer itself. And so to download Skype for your desktop, you would select the appropriate computer that you have. So for example, I'm on a Windows platform, so I would hit Get Skype for Windows, but if you're using a Mac, you would hit Mac and accordingly. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get Skype for Windows. And similarly, you'll see that the icon has popped up on the bottom corner. So again, very similar to WebEx and Zoom, you can go ahead and hit that. So once you have Skype downloaded into your computer itself, you can open up the Skype app just by going onto if you're using Windows, you can search for the app in your computer, or this dialog box will open up on its own itself. So essentially, when we're starting off with Skype, you'll see that you can sign in or create a new account. So we're going to go ahead and click that. So if you wanted to sign in, you can sign in using your current Skype account, whether that's by phone number or email here. If you wanted to create a new account, I'll just take you through the steps to do that as well. So we essentially I'll go back here for a second. So essentially we hit this button here, no account, create one. So we're going to click on that. And you can create a Skype account with your phone number, or you can use your email instead. So in my case, if I wanted to use my email, we can hit this link here that says use your email instead. And I'm going to put in my email here. So technologyworkshop0@gmail.com. And we're going to hit next. And we're going to create a password. So in this case, your password must have at least 8 characters, contain 2 of the following. So make sure that your password has 8 characters and has symbols and a mixture of letters and numbers as well. And doing so will allow you to successfully create your password there. You can enter in your name. So in my case, I'll just put technology and workshop. And this is the name that will be displayed in your Skype account itself. We'll go ahead and hit next. So it'll ask you a little bit for your birthday and your region and all of that information. So you can go ahead and enter in your real birthday if you would like, or you can put in a fake one. But essentially, the birthday is usually just used, sometimes to inform friends of when your birthday is, or for different data information. But if you want to find out more about why Skype needs your birthday, you can definitely go back to the main Skype page and look at their data information there. But in this case, we'll just put in a fake birthday and hit next. And now you'll get to a page where you're going to be asked to verify your email. So in this case, when you do arrive at this page, essentially you need to go into the email that you used to sign into your Skype account and enter in the code here. So Skype is essentially just sending you a code into your inbox, and you want to access your email again and enter the code in so they know that it is actually you who is creating this account and not somebody else. So you can go ahead, go into your email and enter the code in here. So once you enter your code in, you can hit next, and it'll just ask us to enter in the characters we see, for example. Again, just more verification methods. So once you've entered in your code and verified the different characters, you'll essentially get to the main Skype page. So you'll get a welcome button here. So we're just going to click continue. So if you want Skype to, this past image here was if you wanted Skype to access your contacts that you already have saved in your computer, you can go ahead and click continue there and it'll do that for you. But for now, we're just going to skip this introductory information. Alright, so this is essentially what the interface of Skype looks like once you've downloaded and signed in. So in the middle here, you'll see it's saying welcome technology. It'll just say your first name here. And the left-hand panel is what's the most important on the Skype interface. So we've got a couple of different icons here that I'll go over. So first we'll start off with the profile. So essentially you'll see your name, your first and last name here, and your profile icon. So you can actually change your status. So if you click on the little green button here, you're able to change your status to active, away, do not disturb, or invisible. And the status is sort of visible to all your friends and family that you're staying connected with. So you can change the status accordingly by clicking on that. So keep it active for now. The next icons I'll go over are the 4 icons here. So you've got your chats, your calls, your contacts, and notifications. So the first icon for chats is essentially whenever you start a chat with somebody, the different contacts will be listed here and as well as their chat information. So this is where you'll see all your messages that you are involved in on Skype. The second icon is for calls. So the calls icon is specifically for when you want to start a call. So you can start a new call by hitting this button here, or you can start a video call by this button here as well. So when you do call through Skype, you can also, if individuals are signing up in their Skype account via phone number, you can actually call them directly on their phone number through this feature. Third icon here is for your contacts. So you will see your contacts listed here in alphabetical order. To create a new contact, all you have to do is hit this button here that says new contact. And doing so will open up a little tab here that will actually allow you to find individuals on Skype and add them to your contact list. So when you want to add somebody as a contact, you want to ask them for their Skype username, and you would enter in the Skype username here. So depending on what their username is, you can enter in their username here and add them to your contact list. So that's something you want to be sure of when you do want to connect with individuals that you know their username and you're able to find them on Skype. And the fourth tab here is just with notifications. So just as you would on your phone or other devices, you can get notifications here for when you've receiving calls or when you've missed a call or you have a new message, etc. will pop up here on the notifications tab. So the easiest way to start a conversation in Skype is essentially this middle panel here. So you can simply hit start a conversation. And again, you'll see this new chat tab pop up. So similar to the contacts that I just mentioned, you can enter in the individual that you would like to talk to. So you would need their username. In the username, let's say, of my friend, and this is what's going to happen when you are able to find their username and you hit their name. The chat box will pop up. So your interface has changed now where you have the individual's name at the top here and different icons here as well. So we'll just go over those. So essentially here, when you have added this person as your contact, the bottom here, you can type in your message to connect with them. So in this box, gray box here, you type in their message. On the left hand, you'll see the different emojis that you can use, for example, as well. So you can choose emojis if you would like. And the blue button here is essentially to send your message. So doing so will allow them to, will let them receive your message. So right now it says that we're waiting for Sonia to accept the invitation. So usually when you add an individual for the first time on Skype, they have to accept the invitation, uh, accept your invitation before they're able to see this message. So once this individual has gone into their account, sees your message, sees that you want to connect with them, they can accept their invitation, in which case this message would be successfully delivered and read by the individual. I'll just go over a couple different icons here for the purposes of this video. So the first icon here is to add files. So clicking on that will open up your computer's files, and you can attach documents or videos or pictures and send them over to your individual that you're trying to connect with. Second icon here is to send contacts to this chat. So if you wanted to share your own contacts with this individual, hitting this will open up your computer's contacts and allow you to send them over as well. Third icon is to schedule a call. So if you wanted to schedule a call with this individual, doing so would open up this tab here, where you would essentially be able to choose the time and the date and when the individual can be alerted for when the call actually starts. And like we mentioned, these three dots here are essentially additional options as well if you would like to explore those. So to actually call this individual, so again, you can chat with them on this chat box, but Skype is usually used for calling. So to call, you can note the top right hand corner different icons here. So this icon here is the camera icon. Right now we have video calling disabled because we don't have our camera on, but essentially clicking on this icon here will allow you to start a video call with this individual. The second icon is just if you wanted to start an audio call only, in which case they wouldn't be able to see your face, but you would still be able to hear their voice and chat with them there. And the third icon here is to create a new group. So you can create a new group. When you hit that, you are able to add in other individuals as well. So if you wanted to add, let's say, more family members or friends, you can search up their username and add them to this chat, and then you'll have multiple individuals in this chat that you can call together as a group. So that's if you wanted to call more than one person and create a group chat. So this is sort of how the interface would look like when you're actually in a call. So let's say we did hit that video camera button or that audio call button after the individual has actually picked up the phone. This is what it would look like. So you again have their icon here in the middle, and your icon would be at the top right hand corner, which is why it says Technology Workshop. And the bottom here, we're going to go through a couple of these icons. So again, you have the microphone button here. So you can choose to be muted or unmuted. You have the video camera button here, so you can turn on their video camera or turn it off. And to end the call, you would simply hit this, this red button here to hang up. You can also open up the chat feature, so that again is the chat box here, in which case you can type in your messages here or send files and do everything that you would be able to do in the normal chat box. And again, top three, the three dots here at the corner, you can hit those to explore a couple more of the settings, such as how to start recordings or how to turn on their subtitles or change your audio and video settings as well. You can go ahead and end the call there. And you'll see the different call history as well. So how long you called for, what time you guys called, etc. So that is essentially, I would say, the biggest features of Skype. Some of the basics of how to start a call and how to do chat and how to add the icons, or sorry, how to add contacts as well. So again, 4 icons: chat, call, contacts, and notifications. The main one being chat, where you can go in and talk to individuals and also go on video calls with them. So that essentially brings us to the end of this workshop. Again, we went over how to use WebEx and how to access a live stream on YouTube, especially for our webinars. And we briefly discussed Zoom and Skype as well. Both, again, very similar features and different platforms in which you can do video calling with your family, your friends, or even with your colleagues. So hopefully this video was helpful in how, navigating these different features. If you ever do have any questions or concerns or would want some help on walking through some of these features one-on-one, definitely feel free to email us to get in touch. And if there's something specific that you want to see explained in more detail, we will also be happy to address that in the future technology workshop series as well. So thank you for joining.